Good evening. This is Geeta Mallikarjunan, CEO of HMA, and on behalf of Hyderabad Management Association, I welcome you to the MSME program on the topic Packaging Industry Trends and Opportunities for Future MSMEs on by Mr. Santosh Raj, Head of Technical Center, Alpla Group, Hyderabad. I also welcome our office bearers, MC members, and all the members who have registered for this program and also watching us live on FB. I welcome our convener MSME, Mr. Peddi Rajendra Krishna Prasad. I also welcome our speaker, Mr. Santosh Raj, and request our Vice President, Mr. Jevan Naidu, to take the session forward.
Good evening. Welcome to all. On behalf of Hyderabad Management Association, I would like to welcome the convener of this program, Mr. Peddi Rajendra Krishna Prasad, all the office bearers, the speaker, Mr. Santosh Raj, and all the invitees, attendees who are there. As you all know, Hyderabad Management Association has been there from the year 1964, and it has been doing pioneering work in the field of management. And we have been doing an industry readiness program for a lot of students, BBA, MBA students. This year we have more than 150 students intake. Other than that, there are the lecture meetings. There is the faculty development program. There is the MDP, Management Development Program, and of course the flagship award functions, which happens every year. And this is the 50th Golden Jubilee Award year, which has awards in various categories. And I would also request all those present to also spread the word so that we get good nominations for all these awards this year. I hope all of you would have got the awards nomination brochure also. If you have not got it, kindly put down your email ID in the chat box. So our CEO Geeta ji will send it to you across to you. And we look forward to a good session from Mr. Santosh Raj. Thank you.
Yeah. Good evening, sir. Good evening. Thank you. It's respected our HMA Vice President Jevan Naidu garu and our CEO of HMA Geeta ma'am, and our today's evening chief guest speaker is Santosh Raj garu, and our fellow MC members of HMA, the management committee members, and esteemed participants, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed my pleasure to introduce today's topic as well as the speaker of the day. And today's topic of the webinar is packaging industry and its trends and opportunities for future MSMEs. And regarding a brief synopsis about the topic, like, you all know very well that packaging is a booming industry now in globally also. Packaging basically refers to materials used to wrap or protect goods in a safe and hygienic way, ensuring a certain shelf life of the product. It can also be termed in the professional world as a business or process of packaging of goods. Packaging has many different roles. These include providing protection, safety, enhanced usability, attractive looks, optimum design, and specific customer requirements. Typically, end user companies spend 10 to 40% of the product retail price on the packaging. So it's a booming industry totally. The global packaging market size is valued at US of 10-15 billion in 2021 and is expected to expand at a compound annual growth rate of 4.2% from 2022 to 2030. In India's case, packaging is the fifth largest sector in its economy and is one of the highest growth sector in the country. According to the Packaging Industry Association of India, PIAI, the sector is growing at about 22% to 25%. In this session, our guest speaker, Santosh Raj garu, will review about the different types of packaging in terms of its contact with the product, like primary, secondary, and tertiary packing types. In addition to these different types of packaging material used in this market currently, and also in the present trend. Additionally, the specific related to plastic packaging, which Alpha is a Austrian-based global company, multinational, multi-locational company, deals globally with the product for its esteemed clients line will also be reviewed. Now it's time to talk a brief profile about Santosh Rajgaru. Santosh Rajgaru is a graduate in mechanical engineering from University of Chennai and a postgraduate diploma holder in plastic engineering from CPET, the Central Institute of Plastic Engineering and Technology from Chennai, and has worked in domains of quality assurance, part inspection, testing, tool proving, design, product development, and now working with Alpa for the last 17 years. And now since last 4 years in the capacity of a head of the technical center, which is based out in Hyderabad. The technical center based out of Pashamailaram, Hyderabad, is among the 7 technical centers of Alphas worldwide in various geographical and aim to handle the regional development of innovations. The technical center has the talent and resources in the fields of project management, product concept, design, process techniques, and quality assurance. The previous organization had associated as being Elcott High Tech Tool Room, Milton Plastics Limited, and Pick Writing Instruments. He is totally overall about 25 years plus experience in domain of plastics in various fields of molding processing and mold making. The field include automobile, household articles, stationery products, white goods, and his previous organizations and the rigid plastic packaging of various processes being handled while working with Alpha. It's indeed a great pleasure, sir, to be here with us. And now the mic is yours, sir. We take a clean presentation of this. Before that, I would like to request all the participants, please put all your questions in the chat box so that we have about 1 hour session continuously with the PPT with the videos also there. So all your questions at the end of the session will be taken up by me or directly by the speaker. If at all you want to talk to speaker about any queries, you can introduce yourself and address him about your questions. Thank you. Sir, now it's time is yours, sir. Please.
Thank you, Rajendra ji, for the nice introduction. I hope I am audible and clear.
Yeah, yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, great. Thanks. And thank you also, Geeta ji, Jaivan ji, and also Raju Garu for giving this opportunity to speak on behalf of Alpla and bring in insights as per the topic to this forum. And of course, special thanks to HMA and also Rajendra Pedigaru for his active persuasion to making sure that we have a session in this topic being at least completed by end of the year. I would like to start by saying this, that I saw your this year's special motto or the special comments on the HMA website about innovation and other things. That's what we do for a living within Alpla. And more or less this coincides with similar thought processes, what you had been in the industry since 1964. And Alpla globally has been in the world since 1955. So that's not much of a difference, just a decade of a difference, but that matters a lot, that the concept of bringing innovation and making a sustainable living is what we do as a great thing to do in the world of today and for future as well. So I would like to thank all other participants also to join here and welcome Hyderabad. Have a nice evening, and hopefully the next 1 hour will be useful for all of us in this thing and all others who are watching live as well. So my topic granted today was packaging industry, the trends and opportunities for future MSMEs. I think this is based on the thought process that somebody gets this idea, brings in something. And as Rajendra ji said, anything you need to contact me, you can do it through the chat box or get the details from Rajendra ji and contact me personally as well. So let's get into the presentation. Of course, Rajendra ji had already given a small brief of what topics are there. Just give me a moment, please. The synopsis has been already very clearly articulated by Rajendra ji. So what I would like to take you through this agenda is what is packaging, what are the important facts of packaging, types of packaging, forms of packaging, and also what are the real types, or I would say the materials used in packaging which are there. Packaging industry trends, this is something which is important for all of us to know. In what direction are the drivers in the packaging industry, and about Alpla as well, about the company, because we are into the field of rigid plastic packaging. We do bottles, caps, and closures. These are our core business. So we will have also how we work in Alpla or how do we develop products is what I would like to explain so that it helps also the new industry. People who are entering into the industry would also be entrepreneurs, could also get some idea about these topics. Yeah, without wasting much time, I would like to dwell into the main topic. Of course, packaging is, as you know here, is a fundamental aspect of supply chain management. The core purpose is to protect your product or any product what is there, and it should be able to be handled well. So that's the main core thing. And the important aspect is also the brand representation. Any product will have its own branding, which is using a certain material construction, and that's where it is much needed. It can also be that it is in an electrical domain or pharmaceutical, anything has any impact on this, and it has also to be stored properly in the warehouse. This is quite important aspect. And why there are 5 major reasons why packaging is important according to whatever we have checked. So the most important aspect is the protection. The protection is important because the product what is inside the packaging should be able to take care of humidity, light, heat, and any external factors, whatever are there. The product shouldn't get bad or decomposed overall if it is food packaging. And there is a difference also that there should be an intelligent and well-designed packaging, and it should be also very useful that it is packaged in the right way. It should not be over packaged as well, because right now what we see is that if there is a protection needed for light, heat, etc., you need to have certain structure of the package itself to be constructed in a way which can protect it from this external sources. The second aspect would be safety, like what it secures the product. The safety is also important, that it should keep its contents and consumers safe. The packaging should not be having any adverse effect on the users. That's very important. And also the information of safety should also be provided in the packaging itself in terms of a print matter or some sort of things. Harmful chemical, smell, or taste transfer from packaging material, if it is food, then it's also something which should be controlled well. This is also an important aspect there. The third one is attractiveness. As anybody would buy, of course, packaging is not as good as cosmetic, but it's also an important aspect in life, that when you go to a supermarket, the attractiveness of a pack is something which you would definitely love to buy something if you find something nice. So a unique packaging or something which is attractive can increase the attractiveness and also influence the willingness to buy the product, because anybody who will buy a product will be only driven by the fact that either you like the product which you have used, or if you are going to buy something the first time, what we call in our industry as the first moment of truth, FMOT. Once you see something, then you have a wow effect of some package which looks nice, then you buy it. And of course, it is also, the packaging is also an important storytelling topic for any product company, because it gives a certain branding and officially some more inputs related to the topic. And it's useful for communicating the company's values and benefits to the product that brings to the consumer. So the attractiveness is also important. Then comes also usability. The package should be ideally usable for a consumer. When we buy a product, it should be usable in a way it works. And certain times the usability can be in different aspects. It can be in terms of functionality. It can be, for example, in our field of business, when we talk about a shampoo bottle, the flip top cap, for example, it should be something that if you are opening it, it should be convenient to open. And if you squeeze the bottle, you should be able to take the shampoo out. So that's something what is also convenience for use. And in case there are dosing equipments, etc., being there, which should also be that you are able to get the right dosing in the right way. That's how the packaging is designed. And this is very much important on the usability aspect. Then the last but not the least, and the most important aspects currently, which is in our field of domain, is also on sustainability. The sustainability we talk about reducing the carbon footprint, reusability of the packaging material, and also recyclability. So this is important aspects. Like for our company is a European based company, so for us this is a primary forecast, or I would say this is a prime driver on our way of business. And this is something I have some topics are related to this in the subsequent slides as well. And the packaging design is also something which is needed to create in a way that it is useful or made in a way it is sustainable. So we also have a certain program within our company, which we also run on right from the design. We design a package according to the way that it is sustainably used, as well as it can also be reused. So there are many aspects related to this, which helps overall the business to grow well when we also look into this sustainability as an important aspect. So then there are the types of packaging which we will also go through this very briefly. As I can tell you that there are three types of basic packaging material being used. One is primary packaging, which comes directly in contact with the product. Then comes another thing called secondary packaging, in which the primary packages are added into the secondary as a secondary package to avoid pilferage and as a bulk container, etc. Then there is also tertiary or transit packaging, which is ideally used for shipment, storage, and also for bulk handling. Certain times it can also be palletized load which goes into it. So we'll quickly look into this. What are the types of packaging available in the industry currently? So primary packaging, as the name suggests, this is the direct contact packaging for any product. So it can be in the form of laminated pouches, like most of the grain multi-layers based on the product shelf life needs, etc. So in case of perishable items, then this can also be Rajendra ji, you can hear me?
Yeah, and now you can hear earlier a little farther. Yeah.
Okay.
Fine.
Okay.
Yeah, now we are not able to hear, sir. Now. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Things also for other beverages can also be in this format. Then there are parchment paper, in which, of course, we also know that most of the baking industry uses these papers, which are non-sticky and also quite effective in handling these packagings. Then paper, etc., which are there, in which also the food packets are taken away, take away products and all these things. Then there are these laminated tubes from plastic packaging, which can also be used for having a certain resistance to oil, heat, etc. They are mainly used either for ointment or some creams, etc. And it's very good and convenient to carry as well. Then, of course, there are also the mono cartons, in which directly the parts can be put into this. Then there are also retort pouches, as far as we understand in the industry, which is also used for enhancing the shelf life of the product. Then we also have paper foil laminates, in which the inner side will have a laminate, in which increases the shelf life. This can also be metallized. There are also composite cans, in which you could have seen that there is some glass bottles, especially alcoholic things, which can be concealed well into these sort of packages. Then there are these glass containers, in which there are certain products still which are in glass. even though we see that there is a lot of opportunity that glass can be converted into plastics in many of the application, but there are seriously some issues in glass that the carbon footprint is very high when you process glass. And as all of you in this know that glass is a continuous industry, continuous processing industry, and there is a lot of energy needed to convert glass into the right package. But of course, in terms of pharmaceutical and certain application where glass is needed, then they are the right choice. We also respect that. Then, of course, there are shrink wraps which are used. There are films, woven sacks, etc., in which where in especially in woven sacks we get also the primary resin, polypropylene, HDP or PET in these sacks, which are above 1 ton of capacity, which we get in bulk packages also. And then there are these intermediate bulk containers where you can have liquids there. There can also be some recipes, sauces, especially used for bulk consumption into hotel chains or big restaurants, etc. Then there are these bubble wraps, blister packs, jute bags, blister packs especially, they are used especially on the pharmaceutical more in detail. Then there are also the jute bags which are there for carrying convenience. Secondary packaging, these are where the primary packages are put into this. This can also be in terms of crates, plastic trays, or EPS trays, wooden crates, which are there, etc. Then tertiary packaging, then there are these big boxes, corrugated fiberboard boxes, wooden containers, plastic pallets or wooden pallets, etc., which are being primarily used. Then apart from this, there are also additional packaging material which has certain relevance into this. There are these adhesives with tapes, labels. Labels are also playing a vital role in the packaging industry because they are representing quite a lot of branding in that. There are printing inks which are used to create labels or printing directly into the packaging, and also PP straps, especially on the boxes, cushioning material wherever you need to have safe, secure, fragile material into that. Then there are caps, closures, etc., which are also there to carry the bulk containers, etc. So these are some of these packaging material which are also being used along with the primary, secondary, and tertiary packaging. Then we have a small look into the rigid packaging market. Rigid packaging talks anything about which is rigid. There can be also, or there are also the flexible packaging industry, which is there, which is also as big as the rigid packaging industry. So rigid packaging means any packaging material which is hard in nature, which is also made out of cardboard, metal, aluminum, tin, glass, or even plastic. Just to give a small brief on the availability of the materials in different fields. Of course, as you can see, plastics is the bigger driver in terms of the rigid packaging, similar to the paperboard. Then there is the material, metal, as well as glass. So the rigid packaging, as far as this usability is concerned, it's durable. At certain times you can say that it's costly because you need to form a shape, and it's also a little bit of negative environmental impact, especially when you do metal, glass, and also paperboard and plastics to some extent also. And rigid packaging normally is heavier because of the density of the material being used is high, and the amount of material used is also high. That's based on a purpose which is there. And also when you use rigid packaging, it adds up to a certain level of shipping cost, which is more because of its weight and package size. So about rigid packaging, when we talk about it, these are the plastic bottles in a different forms and shapes. Then there is tin. There is also injected components. There is also glass into this. And some of the rigid packaging producers are right from Alpla and some of our friendly competitors as well in India and also worldwide. These are also given in this thing like Amcor. These are all based out of US. Continex, Sonoco, Manjushri is from India, Wiener is from US, and Moltec is based out of Hyderabad. High-Tech Plast and Parex, Syntex, etc. These are some of the rigid packaging suppliers. Then when it comes to flexible, this is non-rigid. Then we call it flexible, which allows more economical and customizable options. Packaging, especially in this, can be in terms of foil, plastic, paper, or even pouches, bags, and other pileable containers, etc. And flexible has unique versatile packaging, such as food and beverages, pharmaceutical industries also use quite a lot of flexible packaging, and also personal care. So some of these images from the flexible industry, mostly related to pouches, single-use, multi-use, and many other topics around. Some of the suppliers, Uflex, Hutamaki, Time, Technopack, and EPL, etc., TCPL. So coming to plastic packaging is basically through a process where you combine a mold to create a package. That's how the plastic packaging is done. Plastic is processed, and there are different versions in which you can bring in this with a tamper-proof seal or label. And there are many functions, whatever you use on a day-to-day basis. Most of the products currently in the market are, or even in the future, are based out of plastics. And then wooden packaging. This is also an important aspect where we also have, it's used for storage as well as shipping, basically, in a very confined way. And then there is paper packaging. It has a lot of versatilities, and this is biodegradable. That's a big advantage which paper has against all other packaging things, but it has little bit of, strength which is less, etc. Then comes aluminum and tin packaging, which is also quite a growing market, and there is quite a lot of demand in this sector as well. And this is quite good in terms of having a lot of protection from light, oil, grease, water vapor, oxygen, and microorganisms. Then one more topic before we go to the plastic section is about the e-commerce packaging. This is something which is currently the current trend and also the future, I would say, because a lot of things what we have understood in the last couple of years after the COVID topic is much of this is bought directly online. Very little we go and buy something. Even the trend continues that the e-commerce market is going very high, and there are not many competitors around. There are big giants which handle this very well. So the primary reason why the e-commerce is essential, because it protects the thing what you sell it, so that packaging has to be proper, that there is no spillage of the product or there is no damages happening to the product as it reaches us as a consumer. And then of course the shipping and distribution will be a stress-free process, and you'll have a set of happy customers that receive the product undamaged and ready to use. Well-protected products add significant value to your brand. So that means that the packaging also has to be quite well adequately done, because most of the times we have seen that nowadays, if you get something through Amazon, you always see that the package is much bigger and stronger than the product inside. But that's made for a purpose that always you need this to be secure. And finally, they don't want to have any claims, and keeping on shipping to and fro is also a bigger challenge. But this e-commerce also helps to create a lot of awareness on the brand identity. And they also somehow or the other try to manage shipping costs in a very constructive way, that the package what we order reaches us properly. And for e-commerce, I would also like to add that within Alpla, we have certain packages which is also e-com tested. And we also have e-com labs available for our plastic packaging needs in our technical centers in Austria as well as in Atlanta. But currently in India, we see that it's a trend mostly handled in rigid packaging, especially in carton space, but we would also like to bring some products on e-commerce soon in the Indian market as well. So this is something which we are continually working for, getting some new topics into the market in India as well. So next is about, especially for new and current entrepreneurs who have joined this session, what we considered as the trends in the packaging industry. This is something which we wanted to also share this topic, because this is something what we see as important aspect there. Ideally, there are something what we have captured as 10 trends in this overall. The first and foremost is Internet of Packaging. This is important aspect that we are now completely into an internet age since the last 5 to 10 years. And this brings a lot of technological disruption from the traditional packaging, and allows consumers also to get better value from the brands. So this aspect is basically based on, you can see that there are QR codes. It's everywhere in the world now. Anywhere you go to a restaurant, you get it through the QR code, the whole menu. Like this, you also have this in the packaging. Then there are smart labels, which can also have certain holograms, etc. There are the RFID chips, which can also be embedded into the packaging so that there is a clear understanding about where these packages are and what is the authenticity of this, and near field communication chips. So this is ideally good that any consumer gets a good idea about this package, not that they need to read all the ingredients, whatever are there in the backside of the package or wherever it is. It's easy that they get a complete idea about this, including discounts, certain video tutorials about the usage, etc. So this is very highly demanding sector in this topic, as far as we have seen in the industry. And also, it also gives nowadays a real-time information about the condition of the product which is inside, which means how old is this product, when was it packed, even though it's written in the backside of the product, still these inputs are also available directly when you get these inputs through these tools. So this is something what we call as Internet of Packaging or Internet of Things, but this is something which is the big trend, and as well as something which is going to go very longer as well. So this is one thing. The second one would be about biodegradable packaging. Many of you must have known already about this, but we are also into making products on biodegradable products for usage in plastic as well, or as a replacement of plastic as well. So here what we have seen is, as you have seen in the image below, this is that there is a small jar. Over a period of time, with normal aging process, it completely biodegrades and goes into the landfill without creating any problem. If it is not biodegradable, like what we have seen in the recent past related to floods and other natural calamities, that there are a lot of these pouches or films and certain plastic products which gets clogged into the drainage system, which is also very challenging. And these, when they go into the landfill, they don't get decomposed very fast. So there are some of these products which are made from starch, cellulose, polylactic acid, PLA, and polyhydroxyl ketones, etc. And other biopolymers are there, which is also normally used to produce products in our type of processing, and then they are used into fill products, and then over a period of time when you use it, they automatically, when you throw it into the normal atmospheric condition, they tend to degrade. There are certain expectation from end users also that the biodegradable packaging also needs a certain shelf life, which certain companies have already worked and found some solutions. But this is a highly innovative topic, which is also found to be a great trend for the future. The third one would be digital packaging. The digital packaging means that you have more digitalization coming into packaging through a printing format. Like, for example, if you are from the packaging industry and if you know about printing, that's a process which goes with a lot of cycles, keeping the same design. The artwork changes have to run in a long fashion into millions of pieces to be more cost effective, etc. But here in digital printing, it's possible that every package design or every label or every shrink sleeve is produced in a different design, one after the other. That means something can be done in a green color, the next one can be in a different flavor, which can represent another color, etc. So that gives less turnaround time and more flexibility. And this also gives more customization, etc. And this is also can be done online while filling, or it can also be that it is done offline. So these are certain technologies which which can replace the flexo printing, which is the most traditional method of printing of labels or the pouches or even certain things on paper. The fourth topic would be packaging automation. And automation, as everybody knows, that's the most important thing to avoid any additional labor costs and also bring in a lot of standardization in the processes. Also increases precision and of great quality. And Alpla completely believes in packaging automation as such. And I can also proudly tell that whatever we produce in our companies are going untouched to the packing station. Right? I mean, or even the granules are being automatically put into the machines with a certain dosage from the microprocessor. And this is the kind of thing what we think is the right way to do. The less the laborers, the more successful is it on precision and accuracy and repeatability. So this is important that the automation should also happen on the complete thing, right from production of packaging material to filling, packing, and also palletizing. So the complete thing, if it runs automatically, there will be an investment which will be a little high cumbersome in the start, but ideally this helps to avoid a lot of human errors and the overall handling is also done quite safely. So this is very, very important. And the current trend is also using a lot of robotic assistance to automate the whole processes. And we are also working with quite a lot of recycling facilities by Alpla worldwide. And there we are also using quite a lot of robotic controls to sort out the material types also. So that's also helpful in a way that the automation increases overall the efficiency and the productivity and reduces a lot of human interference, which creates certain times a lot of problems around. So this is quite important as well. And then two of them which are kept side by side because each of them have a certain significance here. One is active packaging. The active packaging, as I can tell that 1/3 of the food globally produced is all wasted. That's everyone knows this. It can be 1/3, certain times it is also as good as half the food. That's all because the food which is stored or handled is not in a very effective condition, or the packaging itself is not able to take care of the food shelf life in a better way. So the active packaging is what I mean is actively participate in the preserving of the product. That means a certain amount of oxygen and other barriers are needed, and certain absorption of moisture and other things are also needed to handle this package. So any specific package will have a certain need in which it has to be handled, and also prevents a lot of antimicrobial and bacterial growth, which definitely are the prime drivers to spoil a food. So that's something which is very important, which is needed there. Custom packaging is something that we is to create a certain customized design in the packaging itself, which makes it more attractive. For example, we have seen recently that there was this campaign by Coca-Cola share a Coke with Papa or some names into this, which makes it a very personalized touch. Also, custom packaging is also very much important from a certain point of view, also helps in the medicine field as well, where we can also customize a certain package according to the needs of a patient, according to the type of medicine he has to take, how many times a day, as well as how many, which type of package. All these are also there. Even I think few months back, I was on a visit to Scient in Hyderabad. They also showed me this specific device in which at a certain time it itself tells that this is the one which you need to take. This is the pill you need to take. They had done it for a client. But these are things which are very much important to make sure that there is a right connect, or the package itself speaks to you and tells you what you need to do. So that's the beauty of custom packaging. Then we have recycling or recyclable packaging. This is something which is unavoidable for us in the plastic packaging industry. And here we are talking about post-consumer resin, and normally called as PCR. So many of the products what we produce here in India are also using the PCR material. And currently what we are seeing is that many of the countries, or including India, have also banned the single-use plastic completely. And everyone is looking for a product packaging based on the regulations from the current thing. Because if you don't follow the regulation, you are not in a position to, even if you produce, you can't sell it. So that's the challenge around here. And when we talk about post-consumer recycled material, this is something that, for example, we in our field of industry, we get these materials are made from plastic bottles, caps, etc., being regranulated and picked from the market. Street vendors, pickers, rack pickers use this. Then they go into collection centers. From there, it goes into centers for sorting. Then there are the aggregators who do this reprocessing of the material, and finally we get granules, and we buy them from some of the reputed guys based out of Hyderabad for our consumption within Alpla also. But apart from this, not only in rigid packaging, in flexible also, there has been some work done already. And Alpla as such has around 8 of their PET recycling plants worldwide, as well as 3 of the HDP plants as well. So the purpose of having these recycling material facilities is to produce recycled material for our usage. And as per the Government of India regulations from the Pollution Control Board, by 2025, any of these plastic material packaging should have 25% to 30% minimum of this post-consumer resin PCR into this, which will make the overall equation that there will be a lot of this PCR material coming into the industry, and there will be a lot of demand also for converting this material. And then, of course, that was on the PCR or recyclable packaging. Then we have edible packaging, which also, as the name suggests, the packaging which can also be eaten up. So mostly this is as to avoid the dispose model. This is also that a trend towards the sustainable packaging as well. And many of the startups have come up with spoons, straws, and cutlery items also made from edible packaging, so that you can still use this packaging to be utilized in our consumption also. Then also we have a few more trends. One is 3D printing. Many of you must be knowing about this. We in Alpla also believe and work with a lot of these 3D printing facilities for us to find out the shape function of packages what we produce. But ideally, this is also used to make personalized designs packages. And it's a little costly, but this is something which is always useful when we use lesser quantities to produce and supply. And additive manufacturing is part of the additive manufacturing technology, and this is used by manufacturers for also making parts for machineries, and certain areas we also have used it for different usage of things where you can't get a spare part. You can also make these from a 3D printed certain like a small crankshaft, etc., etc. So that's a lot of versatility in 3D printing, where you can make shapes which cannot be moldable, and these are just printed in a way that it's like the normal laser printer, but on a layer by layer technology. This is being printed according to the certain material being used to bring rigidity or certain flexibility, etc. And then the 10th point is about nanotechnology. And this is nanotechnology is, of course, this is also a very futuristic one, where it is nanoparticles are mixed with polymer chain to enhance the barrier properties and also the strength of the packages. It also enables tracking. I mean, certain things can also be coded that you know that what is the particle being used in this format of packaging. You can trace it, and it is also used for anti-counterfeiting, etc. And definitely it also has a lot of sensors by virtue of its nature of the nanoparticles, and it's used quite a lot to monitor freshness of the food, and also if there are any chemical changes happening inside the packaging. So these are some of the trends which we have brought into it, and I hope this will also be useful. And then, of course, we talk a few things more about Alpla. And of course, I would like to stop my sharing because there is a video to be shared, but I will speak about Alpla. And of course, we want that Rajendra Garu, we can also have the video being shown.
Karthik?
Yeah, I'm doing.
Yeah.
Can you stop sharing, sir?
Yeah, I'll do that.
But you can give a brief about Alpha, sir.
Yeah, so Alpla as such, as the name suggests, Alpla is about plastics from the Alps. So this is a family-owned company. We are located in, the headquarters is located in the northwest of Austria, bordering Swiss as well as Germany. This is in a small village called Hard. The video will show a bit more about Alpla overall. As such, we have currently 184 plants, and we have presence in 43 countries. In India, we started the business in 2005, and with one plant in Baddi in Himachal Pradesh. Right now, we have 11 plants in India. We also have the technical center based out of Hyderabad, as well as an injection molding mold shop based out of Hyderabad. And the headquarters for Alpla in India is based out of Hyderabad still, where I am also part of the management group. So this is about Alpla, and what we produce is bottles, caps, and closures. We also are a big supplier to Coca-Cola for their preforms. And currently, globally, we are a 4 billion euro company, and slowly, year by year, we are growing more or less at a range globally between 5 to 10% is the annual organic growth. And we have a vision to be a bigger company in the next 10 years, which we call as the Horizon 10. And hopefully, with a lot of merger acquisitions, we are in a position to be on the standing of being numero uno in this field of business. Currently, we are in the top 3 in the custom closure business, and overall, I would say in this field of business, anytime between 1 to 3 is our global standing. And in India, currently, we have a turnover of close to around 1,300 crores for as of this year.
Sir, video is playing, sir, now.
Yeah, okay.
Audio is not coming, Karthik.
Sir, audio is not coming.
Yeah. No, it paused also. Yeah. Now, okay.
Now see, sir.
Yeah.
Though you may not be familiar with the name Alpla, you would be
fine.
astounded at the number of places in which you have already encountered our products. We look forward to seeing you again someday soon. Alpla, filled with life. In 1955, who could have suspected that within a few decades, the garage-based project Alpenplastic Lena Alwin or Hage would grow into a global player with more than 140 plants and over 13,000 employees worldwide. But what does Alpla actually produce? You will definitely have held one of our products in your hands.
Oh, voice gone. Karthik, no audio. Karthik, no audio. Karthik.
So a suggestion, maybe this can be paused and replayed. I mean, or from the
Yeah.
place it is, it can be paused and then played also. Possibly the audio can catch up.
Karthik? Karthik?
Employees and partners is defined by this.
Perfect.
We would also like to achieve
ఒకసారి మన బ్యాక్ వెళ్ళి వస్తావా కొంచెం
moving this
ఆయన ఆడియో పోయింది
the Alpla not only have proximity
ఇంకొంచెం బ్యాక్ ఇంకొంచెం బ్యాక్
save on transport quality every day.
ఇంకొంచెం బ్యాక్
Relocate
ఇంకొంచెం బ్యాక్
Alpla is a
ఇక్కడి నుంచి
great
యా యా
supplier.
ఫైన్ ఫైన్
From the initial idea to the design.
ఓకే 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 నో ఆడియో అగైన్ ఓకే
Yeah, I think the Karthik is going on mute. Because of that, the audio is not coming. So he has to be unmute.
Karthik, you got to unmute it seems. Karthik? 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 Okay. Karthik.
So just to give a background to this, these are some of our initiatives globally. We believe a lot in having training programs or dual apprenticeship programs, etc., which builds a lot of futuristic strength to our teams. And of course, we also believe quite a lot on automation. What I was mentioning, this is something giving an idea about how this is. So this has been just the phenomenal growth of Alpla, 1955, from where it was on a garage to being a worldwide and reliable partner to many of our clients. So this is just a brief to give you an idea. I think, Karthik, you need to move to the next one. Possibly you should unmute and do that. Okay.
Karthik, you're there?
I'm there, sir. Can I close that?
Yeah, please. Can you move to the next video, please? And possibly you need to unmute yourself while playing. That was a good recommendation from Dinesh.
Oh, okay. What is the slide number, sir?
47. The next one.
Yeah.
Can you play this, please?
I'm just doing that, sir.
No, the voice is still not coming. Maybe you need to. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's working. Okay, thanks, Karthik. I take over from here.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
I'll share my screen.
You can share, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, in the interest of time, we are just 2 minutes ahead of the closing time, but I won't take longer, maybe another 5 minutes more. So these are our subsidiary companies, what we also have extension with certain partners as well. And we saw the videos of Alpla. I will just move this. Just give me a moment. Yeah. Okay, so these are our product ranges and the portfolios we are into. We are into milk and dairy, food, edibles. I mean, with a lot of products in body care, home care, personal care, etc. So these are our main portfolio into making the beverages as well as oil and lubricants. And now, since the last few years, we are also quite deeply involved into the pharmaceutical business, mostly based out of Middle East and Turkey. And now we have started to work on certain product portfolios in India as well into the pharmaceutical, even though on the OTC front, over the counter products, we are quite there since the last 10 years in India as well. So what we are into is about extrusion blow molding. This is the art of making bottles. Like most of you must be knowing, these are the tubes or what we call as a parison, which comes in and then goes into a mold and forms the shape. then these are being auto deflashed from our machines, and then the bottles are taken out for leak testing, packaging, and storage, etc. So this is on the extrusion blow molding side. We are also into stretch blow molding, which is making PET bottles from preforms. As you can see, the preforms are normally preheated and brought to a certain temperature through which it can be blown inside the mold. And then the bottles are picked up and doing decorations, labeling or sleeving, etc. on that. The other technology which we are also into is injection molding, which is like making all injectable products that is through an injection molding machine, and the mold opens and closes, and then the product is ejected out. This is how it is through the machine side, through the extruder, and then it goes to the mold through hot runner systems, etc. And then the product are ejected. So these are our core technologies, what we call as. And then what we consider ourselves that we are quite an expert in the field of rigid plastic packaging. And we have more than 60 years of experience. I think this is something that for MSMEs also will be of interest of what are the fields which are available in these segments in plastic processing, etc. So we work with clients because without clients we don't exist. We produce components for clients and supply to their filling sites. And we develop competitive, high quality and attractive packaging solutions. And how does it start? It rightly starts from the product design. And we have a group of designers, as Rajendra ji spelled out initially. The technical center has a group of people from the product design as well. This is about not just making a design, but making a design which is realizable. And also before making a design, there needs to be a certain concept which needs to be evolved based on the customer's need. So this is a certain uniqueness which we have in the industry of a concept design, not just making a design, but a design which will be really workable on technical feasibility, and also we add shape, color, and feel. So this is a special services range which we offer on the product design itself. And in an extension to that, we also do modeling and simulation internally as well. So the modeling and simulation really helps to bring in more composite design structures to the package itself. And it helps a lot that once we develop something virtually, it is also being established well physically. So this definitely helps to improve a certain top load or improves the drop impact when we redesign according to the results from the modeling and simulation. And then when this is done, then we go into a tool construction, or what we call as also as a mold construction, because any packaging on the plastic side needs a mold or a tool. So we believe that we should build our own molds. We have our own tool shops wherever possible. In India, we have an injection molding mold shop based out of Hyderabad. And what we do is we develop optimum low maintenance tools, and with also supporting the production processes with very optimized cycle times. And to achieve this, we have our own mold standards which are there. And whenever we have overflow of capacities needed, and when there are more capacities needed, we work with our partner mold makers, which are certified by ALPLA worldwide as well. So this is on the tool construction side. Then we also have best-in-class process engineers to make sure that we also do single cavity pilot tooling in our technical centers, and then the multi-cavity production tooling being established well in the production facilities of ours. So there are a dedicated team which works on this, both on the process side as well as in the mold side. And the most and foremost aspect, what I can tell you, is speed to market, which we consider that since we are an end-to-end integrated supplier right from design to production, we can have certain things being worked out very fast. Certain times it can also be that we have certain products being launched in the market as fast as between 8 to 10 weeks from the concept initiation as well. So this helps a lot. And also whatever we believe in quality and consistency of our products, which improves the filling line efficiencies at our customers end also, which improves a lot on the customer relationship in this regard. So this is something what is also there on this. So from our point of view, what we need or what I can tell from for new entrepreneurs is there are versatile fields in the plastic processing industry, which also starts from a product design, modeling and simulation, mold engineering or the mold development itself, setting up a tool room or supporting with certain mold functions. Then, of course, there is a lot to do from the process side and making sure you have a good supply chain team and also working on something that brings world-class products to the market. So that's a quick synopsis or a small share from my side on this. And I thank you all for listening to this, as well as hopefully, I think we will go into the Q&A session, right, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay, thank you all.
Yeah.
So I stop.
Thank you, Santosh Garu. It's a very awesome presentation, sir. Excellent presentation. One of the best presentation of our MSME platform. Sir, I have few questions. I have 3 questions actually. I'll ask one by one of that. First one is, how long does it take to launch a product into the market in plastic packaging? What are the activities totally involved? I think you just covered it, product design too, I think, in total. The second part is, what sort of innovations have you brought to the market globally and in India, as well as in your field of business? And the last one is, what are the sustainability steps taken up in India by Alpha? These 3 are from my side, sir. Later on, there are some questions are there in that box. After this,
okay, perfect. So let me answer your questions. Of course, how fast can be in the market with certain product is something which needs a joint collaboration with the end user, the branding teams from the client, their packaging teams, and also other team members who are the key stakeholders, including their filling team members. Then we jointly work on a design package quickly, and certain times we also go into a mode which is, if it is really fast needed, we make sure that all other activities are a little bit put on the slow mode, whereas something is taken on war footing basis based on the client, because certain times you have a Diwali launch or a New Year launch which people don't like to miss. So that's something which is definitely needed. But I would say that certain times we have done between 8 to 10 weeks, right from the concept to realization. It can be on a normal circumstances, can be between 6 to 8 months or even a year as well, based on the complexity and the number of parts needed on the package itself. Yes, so that's on the, I hope this covers the first one. The second one, you were mentioning about what sort of innovation, if I understand correctly.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things what we have done on the innovation when it comes to functionality, in terms of sustainability, in terms of reducing plastic wherever it is possible. We actually have an innovation platform itself on this Alpla, which we run on each region as well as from our headquarters as well. The innovation itself is based on sustainability theme as well as bringing a great level of service to the client. So that's how the whole thing is on a product package for innovation, what we look into. The third thing you had talked about sustainability here, as I took some of these things that in India we are also processing PCR for usage for shampoo bottles, especially for clients in India. I don't want to name because they are something that we don't like to reveal names at the moment. But this has been quite well established. Currently, we process close to around 8 to 10,000 tons of PCR material annually. We are also planning to set up a PCR plant by 23 to 24 in Hyderabad. So that will also take care of our needs to be improved much further. Currently, these are being outsourced from the market in India.
Oh, great, sir. Great.
Yeah.
Sir, I have some this thing. I'll just go through the chat box.
Okay.
Or you can take it up, sir. If you Yeah. Rajan Vemula, he's saying that I'm planning to develop design and print pouches for packing specs and powders under my own brand name. How can you help me in making biodegradable pouches?
So Rajanji, nice question. I think few things here we need to also understand. Biodegradable is possible only when there are certain elements which are missing from the actual scheme of things on a pouch. So if you are really packing spices and powders, they also need a certain amount of shelf life, which means that you need to create a certain robustness in your packaging as well. I'm not a great expert on the flexible side, but this is with my insight on this. This is much necessary that you need a certain active barrier to the package, especially to pouches and powders. But in case you need to make it biodegradable, there must be some nanoparticles or something which we need to work upon. I think there needs some more understanding from the R&D side of this package design itself that will help to take care of this topic. But for sure, there will be some way to handle this biodegradability, but I don't see that we have an immediate solution requiring the need of a certain barrier plus the degradability. But for sure, there will be something coming up in the future, sir.
Yeah, I think Murali Krishnagar also related to that is saying that thanks, Mr. Rajguru, for a comprehensive update on the packaging. Could you share an example of a packaging which has used nanotechnology?
Okay,
I was
so
actually requesting if there's any product in the market today that is used nanotechnology. I'd just be curious to know.
So there are a few things which they are in the market in Europe, especially by using certain tracers. So the meaning is that for sure there can be this used where you can find out from which material or which processing, because certain times we combine this along with the master batch. That means the colorant. So then you can really find out if this is authentic or not. So that's we have tested already. There are being some products in the market in this regard, but not by any other technologies. This we have found out. But for that, you need also equipments to check by sensing, scanning, etc. But in India, as such, we have not brought in something like this, and neither we know that in our field of business there is something really working there.
Thank you. I just wanted to ask you one more question. This may be relevant for the MSME sector. Is there something which European MSME sector is doing in this packaging, which Indian MSME has not taken or adopted as yet?
Ideally, I would say that the packaging industry in India is too much fragmented. And especially in the field of plastics, I can tell you that nowadays everyone starts a business by themselves, but certain people try and strive to become a standard player, which definitely is the need of the hour in India. But as such, to answer your question, in Europe, when they do something, they do with a lot of vision. There are a lot of startups, even ALPLA supports. I can tell you that recently we had worked with a few of the kids from IIT. I would say them kids because they are hardly 22, 23. And they were supporting our sorting side on the PCR with infrared and IR, IPR rights around it. And this was really working to be a very successful model where they could even detect the carbon black from that. So there are a lot of things which happen to and fro, and especially in new fields or new domains of needs. For sure, in India, we need a bit more flexibility and also support from the government. There is also something that, of course, I know that the Telangana government has taken a great initiative with the T-Hub and other enterprises around. I think this will be something which will come up, even though I see that Telangana is still second or third within India in terms of startups. But definitely there is a lot of scope and meat in it. I have also been to the T-Hub this year, and as well as T-Works. That's amazing. A lot of energy around it, but there is a lot of things for the entrepreneurs or upcoming people and also the students to learn from this, that there is much more than what we really learn to do.
Okay.
So that's definitely which we need to look into it as possible potential opportunities for future.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
So there one more question from Rajgar itself. I think does the Hyderabad Technical Center cater to design requirement around the world? Do you have ancillary units? How do you ensure they meet your standards?
So that's a very good question, sir. The design team within our technical center is on a global matrix. So we have the largest team of designers outside of our headquarters within the technical centers, and they go as per the priorities laid down on the global network. So the objective is for them to share the maximum possible for the region, but they also take up jobs which are there to other geographies as well. This year we almost covered all the regions what are possible within ALPLA from our design center, and they work according to a standard. So it's not that it's an someone who is expert can only do the job. There is a laid down procedures through which they do. That's on the design thing. Ancillary units, we also have certain machine manufacturing units under ALPLA. That's in the name of Soplar, which makes extrusion blow molding machines as well as stretch blow molding machines. So these are also sister concerns. So we are also maintaining the same standards what we do within ALPLA.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think there are no more questions, sir. I think it's time. I just want to share a few points, like, key takeaways in your presentation is the trends. The 10 trends are excellent, actually. I think, and there is a lot of scope for the startups in that particular line. If anyone want to really go about it, the 10 points, what you mentioned, that is what internet packaging, e-commerce packaging, and digital packaging, and active packaging, and then sustainable packaging. And these are all 10 are very, very alarming. What you rightly said is that on the packaging itself, you can have the product specification and as well as the life of the thing when it is manufactured, with all the particulars how to use, and especially the pharma sector, you already mentioned it, they're already made it trials on it. And it's a scope for the new generation to explore more of opportunities in this particular. And with this write-off, I think a lot of take-homes are there, sir, in this presentation. The first one is the conventional type, and then the traditional type of packaging, all the aspects. And the second one is the trends, especially is the key for me is the trends and the new trends of the 10 types. It's really worth watching and worth observation in the globally also. I think, thank you, sir. I think, it's my duty to say a vote of thanks on behalf of our Honorable Secretary. So he is not well. So I'm taking this liberty in taking the vote of thanks. First of all, I will convey my vote of thanks to our Vice President Jayavant Naidu Garu, who taken with a lot of occupation also. He came over it and given the presentation, the welcome address and the address of the gathering. And second, our CEO Geeta Garu. And our Karthik, yesterday he really helped us in taking a trial out of this particular PPT. And as usually, our all other esteemed members and Raju Garu and all the students and other participants, thanks a lot for coming for this. And there are a lot of key takeaways, sir. Definitely, they given a bird view about the total packaging and future trends of packaging, and a brief about Alpha company. And people should scale it up. And on behalf of HMA and all of our members, I take a privilege in saying vote of thanks to you, sir. And you've taken very busy schedule. You've taken our time and given a fantastic presentation to all of us, sir. So again, once again, thanks to you, sir. I think.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. I think thanks for giving this wonderful opportunity as well to HMA and also the key staff members there. Thank you and all. And have a nice evening. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Yeah,
Bye.
Karthik.
Thanks, Karthik. Bye.
Yeah. Would like to associate with you, sir, in future, definitely. be
Sure,
member
sir.
of our company.
It's
our
my pleasure.
HME.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you,
Bye.
sir.
Bye.
Thank you, sir. Can I close the meeting?
Hello.